Level 1. The Outsider. You walk through the heavy steel gates. You are wearing a bright orange jumpsuit that doesn't fit right. You look at the floor. If you look at people in the eyes, you are looking for a fight. If you look at your feet, you look like a victim. You find a middle ground. You hear the sound of 100 doors locking at once. It is a sound you will hear every night for years. You realize that your name is gone. You are now a number. You sit on a thin mattress and realize that every person here is watching you. You keep your hands still. You keep your face neutral. You do not ask questions. You listen. You study who talks and who stays quiet. You memorize faces without staring. You know someone will try you because they need to see what you are made of. Someone approaches you. What are you here for? In here, that question isn't curiosity. They are not trying to be friendly. It's a test. Certain crimes carry weight the moment they're spoken. You tell him a short story. He walks away. Later that afternoon, someone else asks the same question. If your story changes by even a small detail, that's when suspicion starts. But your story stays the same, and you survive. Then you get shoved in the hallway. Your shoulder hits the wall. You turn around. No apology. You say nothing. You get shoved again, this time much harder. Now people are watching. You can't look weak. You swing first because you understand what happens if you don't. A fight breaks out. You hit the ground. A huge crowd joins in. They all beat you. It's just another test to see if you'll snitch. The guard asks who started the fight. You say nothing. You and the other inmates spend 3 days in solitary confinement. You sit back on your mattress, lips split, ribs aching, face swelling. They're waiting to see if you break. You don't. So you pass the test. Level 2. The Affiliate. You realize you cannot stay alone. You need people to stand behind you so you don't get hurt. You pick a group. You don't join them fully, but you sit near them in the yard. You start doing small favors. You hold a package for someone. You pass a note to a different building. You are trading your help for safety. The guards start to notice you. They write your name down more often. You are no longer just a number. You are a person with a side. You are trading your chance at an early release for a peaceful night of sleep. You start to recognize the secret signals people send with their hands. You find yourself nodding to men you used to avoid in the hallway. You are no longer just watching the yard. You are being watched by it. You realize that neutral men are the first ones to get targeted when a riot starts. You begin to sit a little closer to them during meals. You learn who their enemies are. You learn where not to stand when tensions rise. You laugh at jokes you do not fully understand. You stay quiet when conversations turn serious. You feel safer, but the safety has conditions. If they move, you move. If they stand, you stand. If something happens, you are expected to choose a side immediately. You understand that once you lean in, you cannot lean back out. The group remembers who stood with them. They also remember who didn't. Level 3. The Soldier. You are fully in. You don't do favors anymore. You take orders. When the group has a problem with someone, you are the one sent to handle it. You spend 2 hours a day lifting weights and 1 hour sharpening a piece of plastic into a point. You don't ask why a job needs to be done. You just do it. You get a tattoo to show who you belong to. You aren't thinking about your family on the outside anymore. You are thinking about the rules of the yard. You know that if you fail an order, your own people will hurt you. You treat your body like a weapon that must be maintained every day. You practice your movements in the dark of your cell until they are instinct. You stop writing letters home because that world feels like a fading dream. You only care about the respect of the men standing next to you in the line. You move when you are told to move. You stop when you are told to stop. You do not hesitate because hesitation is remembered. You watch the faces around you during every situation, looking for weakness, looking for doubt. You learn to control your breathing before something happens, so your hands do not shake. You are not the one making decisions, but you are the one carrying them out. You accept that you might be placed in isolation at any time. You accept that injuries are part of the position. The older inmates watch you closely. They measure your loyalty by how quickly you respond. You understand that this role earns respect, but it also earns enemies. The more you prove yourself, the more trustworthy you become. Level 4, the Enforcer. You are the muscle for the leaders. You don't get into small fights. You are only called when something big is happening. When someone owes money for items or protection, you go to their cell. People move out of your way when you walk to the showers. You get the best food and the best spot to watch TV. You watch everything. You notice who sits where, who suddenly changes tables, who avoids eye contact when certain names are mentioned, who's whispering too much in corners and glancing over their shoulder. You don't stare. You observe. There's a difference. You pay attention to the small tensions before they turn into big ones. Arguments over phone time. Someone acting reckless like they have nothing to lose. You see the patterns forming before anyone else feels the heat. When something needs to be addressed, you don't make a scene. You handle it quietly. A short walk, a quiet word near the bunks, a conversation that sounds calm but feels heavier than a threat. You don't repeat yourself. You make it clear once. Your presence alone keeps certain people in line. They adjust when you enter a space. Not because you demand it, because they understand it. The guards may not officially recognize your role, but they feel the stability when you're around. Fewer incidents, less chaos, a unit that runs smoother than it should. Your daily job isn't violence, it's control. But you cannot relax. You have to stay strong every single day. If you look weak for 1 minute, a younger soldier will try to take your spot. You carry yourself with a physical weight that tells people to look away. You become a master of silence because silence is more frightening than shouting. You watch the young kids training in the yard and see the hunger in their eyes. You know that your reputation is the only thing keeping you from a knife in the back. You are the one sent when a lesson needs to be taught. You are the reminder of what happens when rules are ignored. You protect your group when tension rises in the yard. You stand at the front when lines are crossed. Leadership stays clean. You do not. Level 5, the shot caller. You do not use your hands anymore, you use your words. You sit at a table in the yard and people come to you for permission. You decide who gets to use the phones and who gets punished. You control the flow of money and items that are smuggled into the building. Even the guards talk to you because they know you keep the building quiet. You feel like a king, but you are a king in a cage. You spend all your time thinking about traps. You wonder if the people under you are getting greedy. You realize that being the boss means having 1,000 eyes watching for you to trip. You spend your nights staring at the ceiling and counting your potential enemies. You learn that a whispered word can move 100 men at once. You make deals with people you hate just to keep the daily peace. You realize that the top of the mountain is just a very small and cold place to stand. You do not eat your food until you see your cellmate take a bite first. You realize that your life is worth exactly as much as the next bag of hidden tobacco. The power is just a target on your back, and every nod you give is a death sentence for someone else. You are the most powerful man in the building, and you are the most exhausted. You do not carry a weapon anymore because your name is the weapon. You have to keep a mental map of every lie you told to keep the different groups from fighting each other. You have a hidden phone to talk to people on the outside. You are surrounded by people, but you have never been more alone. You realize that every favor you grant is a debt you will eventually have to collect with blood. Your crown is made of concrete and it is getting heavier every single day. If you've enjoyed the video, like and hit subscribe and tell me in the comments which one I should do next.